Hi everyone, it's Dash of Dave here again, back for another crafty video. So today we are going to start doing I think I'm going to make a grimoire. I'm going to make it like a giant book. Now, let me explain this to you because it might not make any sense. Now, I'm no good at drawing, so just take that into account. So what I want to do is I want to have a book, okay, and obviously I want it to look dimensional, and let's try and make something look, I know it looks like a cereal packet at the moment, but you know, don't be too harsh on me. I'm going to have it with a rounded spine. I don't know how you draw a rounded spine, I'm no good. Actually, no, because, yeah. So, and then, actually no, but yes, you'll see what I mean in a minute. So, oh, that's not a straight line, is it? It won't have a gap like that. So what I'm going to do is going to make two of these. One of these will be the top cover, and the other one will be the bottom. So that'll be this half, and then the one we're going to make today is going to be this half. Okay, and they'll be sandwiched together, and inside they will have a smaller book. So when you open it up, this is when not being able to draw anything fails me. And it will open up, and it will have like a gap spine here. So this will be the rounded bit here. So this is the spine. These will be the boxes that I've made. So these holes, etc. You know, that looks a smiley face. I made myself laugh and then had to cough. So anyway, so it'll open up and there'll be one of these and there'll be another one, okay, and then inside that there will be, so I want to have this with like a bit of a raised up section. And this is what I'm thinking in my head, because I don't know if any of this is going to work. It might not pan out like this at all. I'm thinking then it will have another book within it that will be the actual journal itself. So it'll look bigger and weightier than it actually is. And the outside of it will be made with paper mache. So like this is the carcass for the paper mache. And then the inside will be an actual, like, just pages of a book. I think that's how it's going to work. I'm going to cough again. So, with that terrible drawing out of the way, it'll just evolve into whatever it evolves into. So I'm going to show you how I made this part of it. Okay, so this is started kind of paper mache building, and it's a frame. So traditionally I would normally build a frame out of sliced layers of paper, so lots of layers of paper. So like the Mad Hatter's top hat that I made was a slice form frame. So that's where you have let's bring my terrible drawing back into frame. So that's where you have, if you're looking from the top down, there'd be lots of frames, slices going that way. This would normally make a circle, but it's not going to in this case. And then it would have some that hold all of that together that way, and then you encircle it with paper mache and you cover over it, and that's how I made the frame for the Mad Hatter's top hat. This time I've made a box with some boxes within it, and I'll show you what we did for that. And so I've made some boxes to go in it. I've made some other bits in case I want to put more in. We'll come to those boxes in a minute. Another one of them, another one of them. Okay, so what I did was, this other frame is 9 inches wide by 13 inches high. So I've used a piece of... It's so hard to do a job where you need to talk and have that horrible COVID. So this is just a piece of card. This is actually Crafter's Companion pearlescent, I think it's called. But it doesn't crack. It's not because of that. It's literally because I've got it. It's the right size, so it was tall enough and wide enough, and I cut bits off it to make it the right size. So it's now 13 by 9, and we're just going to use it as the structure because remember we're going to cover it over. Nobody's going to see what's inside it. Then what I've done is I've cut these. I've cut slices of a 12 by 12 sheet of card to 2.5 inches wide. Then I've scored it at the 1/2 inch line, so it'll give me a 2-inch side wall. And then I've cut it. I've measured it so it'll sit on, not that one. So certain ones will sit on certain sides, and it's not that, you know, it'll be the last one I pick up there. So it'll sit. And so what I've done is I've measured 9, scored it at 9, and then this will be the return on this side, and then the next piece will line up and attach to that. We'll come to that in a second. These pieces are all the bits that help to attach it all. So what we're going to do, we're going to start making this because we need to make the frame. So unfortunately, just like when you're doing any kind of painting or decorating, or if you're, you know, remodeling your house or whatever, there's always a boring bit to do first, and that's the preparation. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the preparation. So, and then you'll be able to see what I do when I'm making a paper mache project. Now, this is the first time I've done a paper mache project on my channel. I've made paper mache projects for myself previously, but I don't normally share them. So so we're just giving this a try as something else, something different to do. So I will just say I am not a paper mache expert. There are lots of paper mache, self-proclaimed paper mache experts. I don't know whether anybody has ever gone to university and done a degree in paper mache, but you know, there may be some people. But there are lots of self-proclaimed paper mache experts who will tell you the best way to do paper mache, the things to use. I'm just doing me. Okay, so this isn't a this is what you should do. This is a you're coming along with me while I make a new project, and we'll see how it evolves. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't turn out the way I expect it to, then it's all part of the journey. So none of you will have understood what my ideas were from my terrible drawing anyway, so I won't have to worry about anything. So this, remember, this inside, this is all the inside. You're not going to see any of this, so it doesn't matter what colour cardboard I used, or you know, what quality it could have been drawn on, or anything like that. And that's why stuff like this, I don't mind writing on a piece of 12 by 12 card, because I know that at some point it will become part of a structure underneath something that nobody will ever see. So unless they take it apart in the future. But then again, if they take it apart in the future, then that's entirely up to them. Just like when you know, anybody that's ever painted a wall that's written their name on underneath, or before you paint it, just so you know, you can say you were there in the passage of time. So I'm going to cough again, excuse me. Like I say, I've made all of these pieces kind of to fit, and all I did was I measured this piece. I knew this was 9, so I scored my 12-inch to there. That meant that was 3, so then I cut this piece, which I knew was 13, so I scored that at 10, and then I knew then that 10, this would mean that that was 2, so then I knew that this would be 7, and then I scored at 7, and so on. And that's just literally how I've done it. So, and I realise it's bending. It'll bend up because of the glue on the paper, but these pieces are the things that are going to join those together, because remember, you're not going to see any of this. So anyway, so there we go. So I will continue to make this, and then I'll show you what we did next. So unfortunately, this is the boring part. So I will get this done and come back to you. Okay, so I've got all of the walls on. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to join these bits together, and these are just pieces of extra card, just kind of cut. Might be a bit tall, so I'm just going to cut that off. Yeah, that's better. So just all I'm going to do is just going to stick these together, and I know you're not going to see any of this, but the reason for this is this just reinforces this, because you've got to cover it all in paper, so you need it to stop it from like kind of curling in on itself. So because it will pull to some extent. So I'm just going to go over all of these. And just glue all of these bits together. So and there we go. So sorry, I've kind of been a bit distracted by something that's going on in my life, so somebody sent me a text message and it kind of just threw me a bit. So anyway, so that's all the edges. So that is basically what is underneath here. So I'll show you this one. That is basically what's underneath there. Okay, the only difference is that one has got lots of pockets in it, which are basically these, not pockets. I'm going to cough again. Lots of boxes, so open boxes, and the whole point of that is I want to have, I think I'm going to have them, I haven't decided how it's going to happen, like some kind of door on it or something, so that they can have other things inside it. So it's not just a box that makes it look like a bigger book than it is. I want it to kind of have some kind of practicality to it. So that's where I'm going with this. So all I did with these was I kind of just put them in place of where I kind of wanted them. And then I've got some that are bigger than others, so I don't know what I want and where I want it. That looks like an exclamation mark, so don't know, do I want that like that? Yeah, I think it's going to be more that than anything else. So I'm not looking for them to be in perfect places. These aren't measured. They just kind of sat wherever they sat, and that was fine by me. Maybe that one actually. Yeah. So okay, sorry. So we've got some missing footage, and I've been besides myself trying to work out why it didn't record, because I pressed record and I checked it was recording, and it was recording, and then when I stopped it, I don't know where the footage has gone. So there's a bit missing. So what I've done is I've packed it, but I've also put this layer on top. So when we have the boxes, okay, so the boxes are there. Just configured it slightly differently, just spaced them a bit further apart, and then I put this layer over the top, cut some channels out, and then just folded these bits in. That's just to make the outer thing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cover it in paper mache, basically. So this video has turned into the most epic thing for something so straightforward. So what I'm going to use is, for just this bit, I'm going to use, this is gummed paper on a roll. For some reason it's gummed on the outside and I don't know why. But I'm going to use this to kind of strengthen it and then wrap it, just like we did with this, like I did with this one. So I shall show you what I'm doing. So basically, you just start by just kind of, I'm going to start by just encasing these bits, so I bring these sections together, because there's nothing holding this bit together with this. The only thing that's holding this onto here is it's glued down on the back of there and glued onto here. So rather than licking my paper, I'm going to use a paintbrush and some water. So that I've got 2 paintbrushes, because what you tend to find is, because it's gummed paper, it all gets gummed up, and they go really hard, and then you have to wash them. So I'm going to stick that down there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that all the bits of paper are all encompassed, and that the sides are pushed down before I actually fold it over. And then we're just going to encase that. So sometimes you'll lose the stick on it, which I have here, but I'll just put a bit more stick in there. So this is just the gummed paper on this bit. I will be using traditional paper mache techniques, as in doing it with paper, paper and glue, or I might even try using the flour and paper version. First of all, I'm just going to go around and make sure I trap all of these bits in. So this top bit is cut slightly smaller than the bottom one, and that's so that it sits just inside this edge. So when I'm gluing it, I'm pushing this up to this edge here, and that's the reason why it's just slightly smaller, so it all sits inside it. So no, you start with a wet brush. Yeah, I did on that first box. I did lick a few of them for the first few times, and I'll tell you now, you get so dry and can't talk after doing it a few times that you end up reverting to, you think, oh, it'll be fine, it's only like licking a large stamp, and then like you can't lick anything else, and all your food tastes of this glue, whatever it's called. So I'm just going to snip those bits, and it's about, your first layer is never going to be pretty, it's practical. So this first layer is about the practicality of holding things together. It's not going to look gorgeous. And remember, anything we do as we build layers, that's when you can start to put the structure into it. You don't have to make it look beautiful anyway, because you're going to be covering it, hopefully. Which is exactly what we are going to be doing. We're either going to cover it in more paper, or we're going to cover it in paper mache, whatever we decide. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around this and put this all together, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about what other bits that you might need to know. This is kind of just putting all of the foundation in place. This is not the beautifying bit, but remember, you have to start at the very beginning, because it's a very good place to start. Okay, so that's that kind of structure in place. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the whole thing and just cover the whole of it with at least one layer of this. So look, the other thing I like about this stuff is it sticks to this, because this is pearlescent cardstock. There are some, well, certainly the stick glue doesn't stick to it. It tends to peel back off again, whereas this kind of seems to want to stick to anything. So not there. So all I'm doing is kind of just slightly overlapping it as I go. So paper mache is not for somebody who doesn't like being sticky. Where do rainbows go if they commit a crime? Prism. I try not to laugh because it makes me cough. But it's all right. They get a light sentence, and it gives them time to reflect. So I thought that was quite funny. So it amused me anyway. So I thought I'd share it. I'm going to just wrap this over this edge because there are a few loose, straggly bits sticking up. So there's the bits there that stick up. So rather than I'm sticking up, I'm going to encase those. Okay, and that's going to go over there, and I know it's sticking out over that window bit. Oh, Dave, idiot, you need to cut that first. Wrap that round, that one down. Do the same on this side. Round, that one down. Okay, and then this is where it's sticking out over the top of here. So I'll just go up to the corner of the box. And then just fold those bits in, because we're going to cover all of this anyway. You just kind of get a feel for where the corners are anyway, so you just cut towards the corner. And then we're going to take another piece. I make mine quite gummy. The more, if you are going to use this kind of paper, the more gummy you make it, the more time you've got to work with it before it sticks. Because if you're working with it quite dry, it will the surface will have dried first before you're ready to do anything with it. So, and then you'll find you end up having to re-wet it. Okay, so then we're going to do the same with these bits. Not as much overhang on these this time. Just a little bit. See, because if that had been drier, I wouldn't have had the time to work it. So work it. So then we come to these bits. So we're just going to have a look and see, is that wide enough for one? Got a little over, so if it's got a tiny bit of overhang like that, what I will do is I'll do it so that it has a big overhang. Do you see what I mean? So I'll put two strips down the middle. So one sat this side of that, and one sat the other side of it, and that way then I'm not trying to work with tiny little overhangs, because you'll find that they don't stick down. Paper mache is not a quick project, by the way. So it's something you kind of just have to give time for, especially the drying time of it. You've got to take that into consideration, that these things will take time to dry, and the more layers you put on, the longer it will take to dry. So just be mindful of these things. They yield great results, but you just have to give it time. You need a little time. Think things over. Don't cut your wrist off, Dave. That's a little bit long. It's all right. We'll keep those little bits because they'll be useful for the smaller areas we need to cover. Bring this one down so that it sits just like that. Cut into that corner, into that corner, into that one, and then I don't have to do anything with that one because it just sits flush down there. That can go either side of there, that can go down there, and go down there. Now we need to do the same again on the sides. So on this side, I'm just going to cut that a little bit there and a little bit there, and that should then tuck in, does it? No, it doesn't. Let's do that again. Tiny bit off there. So that will tuck in. Yeah, that'll tuck in as well. So cool. Pop that on there. Oh, I think it put it further down. Like that. Then we're going to cut into that corner. Cut into this corner. I hope Tim Holtz isn't cursing me for using his scissors for such things. I did promise when I first got them that I would never use them for anything sticky. That went out the window, didn't it? Couldn't get anything more sticky. Again, I'd like it to sit in there. Sit in. Yep, it is. Your mat will get sticky as well, because I know you're only painting it on, but every time you brush it just a bit of glue off the edges, so it kind of crystallizes the glue on the back of here. It dries very solid. Again, we're going to cut into that corner and into this corner. Put those bits in, that bit there, and that bit there. So there we go. So now what we're going to do is we're now going to just now cover the insides and then make a wrap for it. So these bits here, I have a bit sitting inside. So this is why I'll make some more of these that are of similar sort of width to this. So, and then just sit it so that it kind of sits, so it hangs over the top a little bit. It sits down like that, but then also goes down to that bottom bit, and you just flatten it down. And don't worry if you get creases in it. Remember, this isn't your final layer, and also it adds to it. It's all character. And then the piece goes at the bottom here, hangs over the top a bit, down into the corner there. Sorry, can't really see. Yep. Next piece. Do the same again, and we're going to do that on all of these pieces. So you don't worry about it. We see here it's not completely covered. That's fine. What you're trying to do is you're just trying to cover up the flap that you've pushed down into it. That's your first protocol. So I'll come back to you in a few minutes. So the other thing, I haven't completely covered the first layer. The other thing I wanted to do is this. Show you how I'm going to get into the bottom bits here. I'm just going to push this into here like this. Kind of get it so that wiggle it a little bit so that it comes up at the sides, and then just push it down. And it doesn't matter if you get little gaps like that, you can cover them with a little piece, but also remember you're putting another layer on anyway, so it's fine. So I'm just going to cut these down to being the right size, and I will then come back to you. Okay, so this time, so I've covered it all, so this time I'm doing the second layer, and what I'll do now is I'll take some bigger strips and I'll cut them in half, and then I will layer it so that it doesn't have to be straight, so don't worry about it not being straight. I will put them in like this and layer it round the hole, so don't want it to be that big. otherwise it makes it hard for you to do it. So you put that in and then layer it around the corner like that. So that's what I'm going to do next, and I will then also cover the rest of it. So I will, by the time you see it next time, it will be fully transformed into a 2-layer thing. Okay folks, so that's it. So I've covered it all. I say we, I mean me. I've covered it all. I have given it 2 layers, and that's how it's going to be. So it's a bit squidgy at the minute because it's wet, but it will dry like this, which is nice and solid. Okay, and then those 2 are going to go together like that, and we're going to have like a curved spine on it like this, which I've kind of started shaping. Might not be perfect, but we're going to have like a curved spine. It needs to be shorter, obviously. And then what's going to happen is you'll open it up like this somehow. We'll open it up, and inside there will be another. So this is going to have a border built up around it, so that when they come together, there'll be another book inside. So that's it. So I'm going to leave that one to dry. So there we go. So that's the start of the new Grimoire series. So thank you for watching. Like I say, not an expert on paper mache, just enjoy doing it. So thank you for being here. My name is Dash of Dave. If you liked it, give the video a thumbs up, and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment if you'd like to. And I will see you all very soon in the next video. Take care folks, lots of love, lots of hugs, and I'll see you soon. Take care, bye.